Hey guys, Mika here, and I'm bringing you a really sweet sounding Tony Graziano custom tenor size, all beautiful 4A, 5A. I mean, you name it. This is some beautiful curly coil on this wonderful custom ukulele. I mean, check that out. Love the color of it. It's more on the darker orange, kind of browner side. Has some of the light black streak marks here all around on the side of the instrument, even here on the sides as well, and then even on the back as well. You can kind of follow those lines all over the place. But what's really awesome about this coil is just the big curls that you can get in all the directions or stacked upon each other like that. It's spaced out really nicely, and there's just so much of that curl going on here on the back. On this side, it's really big, and then even here on the front. Just beautiful piece of coal wood on this custom instrument. Beautiful rosette right here, Powell abalone shell rosette, and then we also have European maple wood purfling around the instrument here, around the purfling or around the abalone itself, around the rosette, and then even here, more apparent on the back too, as well as this back end right here that cuts the ukulele pretty much in half. And then there's some other small accents like right here on the heel of the instrument, and then really slight around the headstock that wraps around the headstock on both sides. So really nice stuff. Having that white accent or that white, yeah, the white accent really brings the aesthetic out to more of a lighter kind of color versus, it's very common with curly coil to have, say, like ebony binding. So you have that black on that kind of darker orange curly coil. So you can see a little bit of the black right here, but we also have curly coil, a lighter piece of the curly coil as the binding on the top as well as the back. But you can see how everything kind of points to a more lighter tone overall for the aesthetics versus, like I mentioned earlier, if you had more of that ebony, you'd have kind of more of a darker kind of contrast, kind of just like right here on the fingerboard, which is Macassar ebony here. And then even here on the bridge as well with the pin bridge right here. So you tie a knot, push it through, and then you push it down with these pin bridges. Can lead to slightly better tone. You can save that for another time, but this is a pin bridge. And yeah, it's beautiful stuff. And then even has right here the pin here on the butt of the instrument as well. So even though there's no fret markers here on the side, or sorry, on the front of the instrument, you can still have all of those on the side on fret 3, 5, 7, 10, 12. And then we have regular Grover tuners, silver and black on the back of the headstock. And then the Graziano and Mother of Pearl right here, right across the headstock, as well as the Macassar ebony. And this piece of Macassar ebony on the headstock as well as the fretboard. Really nice because you can see a lot of that brown streak that's really common in Macassar ebony. And then we have a mahogany neck gloss finish here on the back of the instrument. So altogether, a pretty straightforward instrument in terms of, just really beautiful set of curly coil. Some nice touches with the Powell abalone shell around the rosette. A lot of curly coil with the binding, and then, again, just the instrument itself. And then your standard, pretty much Macassar ebony headstock, fretboard bridge. It's just really clean. This is what I like to call a musician's instrument, where it's not too distracting. There's not too much kind of craziness going on, but more just like the craziness is happening with the sound, which I'll get into in a moment, and then as well as the curly coil itself. It just speaks, a lot. Especially with me, I'm in a really well lit room, so I can just go ahead and look around at the coil, and there's just such a 3D kind of effect. You can see the coil and the curl lines actually, kind of. It's like a hologram almost. It changes depending on the angle of the lighting that you're looking into. So it's just really stunning. The sound of this instrument, it's such a... It can do it all. And I don't really like to say that often because usually ukuleles kind of tend to specialize more in the sound spectrum, whether there's a lot of low end, whether there's a nice warmth to it, it's really shimmery and punchy, or it has a lot of clarity, or maybe it's more of a strumming ukulele. It could be more of a fingerstyle or picking ukulele. But as I was playing around with this earlier, this is such a fun instrument to play, and I found that I really enjoy strumming on it, even though I'm not too much of a strummer. I'm more of a fingerstyle player, but I just found a lot of enjoyment playing this instrument, doing, you know, whatever it may be, from just strumming, like real mellow. Just such a nice, rounded, warm, but still has that underneath oomph in the sound, but still very nice projection, nice clarity with the A string, the E string, nice sustain. Listen to that. But yeah, so just the strumming, the tension of the strings feels really nice, so I can just easily strum on this ukulele. Listen to that projection and just that sustain. Nice body to it. I don't know, this instrument just really has it all. From, you know, if I'm all the way up here on the 10th and 12th fret, it's just so clean. Again, listen to that A string. It's just, it's like a bell. Beautiful, absolutely. Just keeps ringing. So to me, this instrument just kind of does it all really, really well. Like I mentioned, there's that oomph that you get from the top, the low G and the C string. Super clean, not muddy, not too much boominess, but just really shake it out of the instrument. But it's just such a nice low end sound. With koa, the kind of tonal properties that my ear likes to pick up with koa is that it's a very mid-range kind of sound in the tonal spectrum. And what I mean by mid-range is that you're gonna get just kind of a nice sweet sound. It really just fills the air with this nice sense of just, the sound is very mellow and very sweet. It just sits really really well in the air, versus, you know, say you have a spruce top, it might like really cut through the air and like project really fast forward, and, you know, it might be really like punchy and bitey with the sound. But koa can have qualities of that, but usually when I play koa instruments, I just get this really nice, just nice quality kind of sound, tonal sound, really sweet. It doesn't you know, like jump right into my ears, but it's not boomy, you know, it's just a really nice clean sound. Just everything meshes well, really well together. This F major 7 chord, E minor 7, everything just really sits well in this room. And that's pretty much what I hear with the tonal qualities of koa. On top of this just being a really awesome instrument as well, you know, built instrument. And then, like I was mentioning earlier, the punchiness and the clarity. I mean, let's listen to that really clean. Just all around a really, really nice instrument. This instrument can do pretty much whatever you need it to do, whether you're a strummer or you use an instrument as like a medium to accompany yourself. If you're a singer, if you want to do some fun little fingerstyle stuff, or to even really complicated fingerstyle stuff, this instrument can pretty much do it all. So I'll try to showcase a little bit of everything with this sound sample. But it's just really great. The action or the setup of this instrument is really great too. I would say it's about probably a little bit on the lower side, which for me personally, I like that, because that means like when you're holding bar chords or holding really difficult chords, the strings are closer to the fret versus being more, you know, higher up, meaning you don't have to press as hard to go ahead and hold down your chords. So for me, I'm going to repeat this until the end of time. I have girl hands and I really am sensitive about like how hard I have to press, you know, on the fretboard with the string tension and all that. And when I press down like these more complicated A minor 7, F major 7, E7, like it just feels really nice. I don't have to really kind of death grip this instrument. So it's really nice on the setup side. I will point out that the neck on this instrument is on the thicker side. For me personally, I usually like kind of just like the middle ground, which is what I think like what Kamaka does, what Ko'olau does, what Kala does. They have more of a middle ground with the neck, but this is slightly on the thicker side. There's some positives and some, not so positives. Just depends on your playing style, what you prefer, what your hands prefer. There's people who like chunkier, meatier necks because say they're guitar players and they like, grabbing a lot of the neck and they're holding chords like this with their thumb and stuff like that. Or they're just used to, or you're used to holding, your thumb is just slightly further away from you holding chords when you're making a pinch point like this. So it just depends. If you prefer a thicker neck, this one does have a thicker neck versus the thinner neck. It's, closer of a pinch point. You don't have to grab as much on the neck. Again, it just really depends on your preferable playing style. One's not better than the other. One's not, more effective than the other. It's really just what you feel is right. So just wanted to go ahead and point that out. That's slightly thicker here on this instrument. And I'm trying to feel it. This has a slight, right here in the middle of the neck, might be important for you guys to know, it's slightly flat in the middle. So there's different types of shapes of the neck where it can be completely rounded. It can be very flat on the inside. This one is slightly flat right where my finger's touching, but for the most part, it's more on the rounded side. So if any of that is important information for you guys, I wanted to go ahead and point it out. So yeah, without further ado, let's sample this beauty out. So I'll start by playing something more, I guess, melodic, something more simple, just so you can hear the instrument breathe. So there we go. So as you can hear, this instrument just plays really well on something more on the slower melodic side. The notes breathe. Everything just breathes really well when you go ahead and play on the slower side. Everything just meshes so well together. So it's just I don't know for you folks, but for my ears, it's just super pleasant to how it rests in my ears. So from the F chord to this G7 chord to the And yeah, talk about the harmonics. Extremely clean on that side of the instrument as well. So here's something, I guess, a little more aggressive sounding if you're that kind of player that wants to kind of play a little faster. So let's try this out. again, so like if I'm going ahead and just playing kind of all over the fretboard and doing all of these kind of fancier fingerstyle stuff, it holds up extremely well. It still has that nice sweetness, nice tone to it. It still has really nice full warm sound, holding his D9 chord. Got a little carried away, kind of taking it in a more darker direction with this E7. When I was picking in the beginning, it can pretty much, yeah, do it all. It's a really amazing instrument. So let me go ahead and showcase what this instrument sounds like with some strumming. All right, here we go. Never hurts to add with some harmonics. So just really nice and easy again to go ahead and strum along with this instrument. If I want to be a little more aggressive, I'll end with this nice little classic right here. It can handle even handling these more fancier chords right here in the middle of the fretboard. It can do it all. So go ahead and check it out.